My name is Janna Macik. If this is the first time you're tuning in, I'm the host of podcast Powering Unique You, where we create encouraging conversations to give you tools, tips, and some insights in how you can be a better leader, how you can improve your life, and just build your dream career, your dream occupation. And today, my friend, I have a very, very special guest. Each of my guests are very special, but this is another level of, of a special person. And today, we're going to talk about how to deepen self-awareness and create affirmation to believe in your uniqueness. And this gentleman, I met him, gosh, about 5 years ago in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He is the consultant and assistant trainer at Judgment Index Company, which is a global organization or quick online assessment that measures personal's value hierarchy. So it's not a IQ, not a personality. It's not a measuring of whether you're introvert or extrovert, but it's really how do you structure your life, your decisions, your choices on the hierarchy of your values. Really insightful tool, and can't wait to dive into that more. And Trip is just a great person who knows a ton about this tool, and he lives in Chattanooga with his lovely wife and adorable son. And I just can't wait to bring him on. Hello, Trip. Hi
Hello,
there.
Janna. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so excited. And as we dive in today, you are tuning in, my friend. Please say hi. Tell us whether you are watching us on replay or you're tuning in live. We want to see where you are, how you're doing, and we're gonna have a surprise. If you can stick to the end with us, Trip. Before we went start, I haven't even planned that, but before we went live, we had an agreement. We're gonna have a big surprise for you guys. So if you're tuning in, stick to the end. You would want to hear that, okay? And Richard is joining us saying, looking forward to this topic. Very interesting. Richard, stick to the end, listen through. It's going to be a phenomenal conversation. Trip. I am so happy. How we met is when I went to the training in Chattanooga to get a Judgment Index certification, accreditation, and become, a consultant. We met and you were leading a part of a training. And maybe for our listeners, give a highlight of what is it so powerful about Judgment Index and this tool that captured you personally to be on this path and in this role that you are.
So I've been with the company for 7 years now, next month. I was blessed. My father is the CEO of the business. So I've been around this tool since I was 15. And the amazing thing is when I first took the assessment, again, I was 15, I was in high school. I was like a lot of high school kids, you don't really know where your place in the world is, and you're still trying to figure yourself out. And so when I first took this tool, it opened my eyes to, wow, this is who I am, and these are the things that I'm strong in and I can become more confident in. But it also showed me areas where I could develop and improve myself. And so I think at such a young age, I had that aha moment, or I had, it felt like a spotlight was shined on me where I wanted to do this. And I've become so passionate about self-awareness and how that can really be a catalyst for change and helping you improve your life and improve your day to day. And I think the great thing about this tool is that it's not a tattoo that is placed on you for forever. My judgment has changed since I was 15, just like I'm assuming your judgment's changed since you were younger. I mean, and so the transformation in me seeing my judgment on paper in black and white from a 15-year-old high school kid to a college kid where I was at a military school, and then to post graduation where I was running a business of my own, and then to now where I have a family of my own. I'm married and I have a son of my own. And so to be able to see my judgment change throughout those times, it's fun to look back on it. I in preparing for this podcast was looking up some stuff, and I found a article or a paper that I had written to my business communications teacher in college back in 2012. And I said, I one day hope to work for Judgment Index because I'm so passionate about self-awareness and really steering into your own uniqueness because we're all different. And that's the great thing about this tool. There is 12.8 quadrillion different outcomes. And so it's very, very rare that we ever get a duplicate assessment. And I actually get an email if we do have a duplicate or even a close duplicate. And I can tell you it very seldom ever happens. And most of the time, there are people from completely opposite parts of the world. And so that's what this tool has really been able for me to do is to believe in myself, believe in my own uniqueness. And so what I really enjoy doing is working alongside people like you, Janna, that want to use this as a tool in their own practice to help other people. And that's really what we're trying to do.
Yes, I love this. I love this testimony trip. And I think what stands out to me the most, as you say, you really show the value in the results. And I feel that's what hooked me to this particular tool. I've taken all sorts of kinds of assessment. There's DISC, there's Myers-Briggs, there's like array of different kind of things. But what really hooked me to this is a way how it shows the things and the abilities and our what drives us sometimes unconsciously in structuring our way and structuring our lives, the insights that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else, the insights, how self-judgmental, self-critical I am, and how this destructs, actually affects even my performance at work. I wouldn't have gotten that anywhere else. And interestingly enough, as you're talking about your journey with Judgment Index assessment and how you reflect back on the year, we talked a little bit before going live with. I took it, about 5 years ago, then in 2020 at the end, and just recently 2 days ago, and it's fascinating to see how some of the things that I consciously focused on have improved. And it's really why I feel the depth and the value that you can glean from the insights like this is phenomenal and immeasurable. We have Richard joining in from London. Hello, Richard. So good to have you here. We have Robert here checking in from New York City. Hello, Robert. So good to have you here. We have another Robert saying that he's watching from Nashville. Hello. So good to see you today. We have someone tuning in from Mumbai, and Richard is saying, I'm 63, don't know who I am. Hey, you're not the only one, Richard. We are all watching and learning and searching, and that's what it was about. Robert said, I can personally attest to the value of this tool. We just had a conversation, great insight conversation with Robert. And Richard saying, interesting products in a way, uniqueness on one hand, which is good in every aspect, versus how some companies look for a certain type of person to fit into the culture, almost against the idea of uniqueness, or maybe not. Just thinking, well, hey, this is a lead of our conversation. Let's start with that, Trip. What do you think on that?
What we do with businesses is we try to, it gets a little bit more complicated in the sense of we're not necessarily trying to focus on self-awareness or uniqueness in that aspect. What we're really trying to do when we're looking at businesses is we're trying to find the best fit for the role that they are hiring for. And so what we try to do is we try to show the hiring manager, we show them, this is what you're going to get out of this individual. This is what drives them. This is what motivates and guides their actions. And so if you are able to work with them and develop them, that's how you really are able to build a culture that is unbreakable, because you're not looking at it necessarily from a team aspect. You're looking at it from the individual aspect of how can I make this person better for the team, for the culture. And so because really all we're trying to do is we're trying to get people in the door that are good individuals. They have a good head on their shoulders. So many times in an interview, it comes down to personality. From the hiring manager's perspective, I too like that same sports team that you like. Oh, I'm really clicking with this individual. They're going to make a great person for our company. And then what happens 2 months down the road? Well, that person starts to show their true colors, and they end up having to be let go, or they end up being the bad apple that spoils it for the rest of the bunch. And so what this tool is able to do is really just take a look behind the curtain, take a look at how the individual is wired, so that the hiring manager can tell that person's supervisor, hey, this is how you need to communicate with them. These are the things that they're really good at, and you can trust them to be strong in. But be aware that there are these areas that you need to just double check on every once in a while, and help develop them in those areas. And so by doing that, you really show the individual that they are there, and you're going to develop them, which is what nowadays is what making people stick around in organizations, is when you show them that you're willing to help develop them to be a better person. And so that's what we're really vying for when we go into an organization, is that individualness, and helping them get to be the best that they can be.
Yes, and Richard is also saying, I guess it's relevant to the sports teams also, right? And how sports teams are gelling together.
Yes, we do a lot of work with sports teams that most everyone on this call would know, the teams that we're working with. I mean, we have in the world of golf, we have Masters champions winners, we have British Open winners. You name. We worked with the Ryder Cup back in 2008. So we work with programs and teams, professional, collegiate, all over the country and all over the world. And so yes, for sure, teams are no different than organizations. They're all trying to pull in the same direction, and reach a common goal.
Yes, achieve the goal. I agree with you, Trip. And something that I want to add on to that question, Richard, that you asked, how does uniqueness plays into the team performance? And I feel that visual that helped me a lot is that there's layers in the organization. There's layers where you have an individual contributor, and that's where you do the best work, and you're best at tactical, you're best at performing tasks. Then you have a team that you need to make sure that team is gelled. A lot of times there's a lot of confrontation or challenges, so you have to work through, and that's where the self-awareness is coming to really be the great gelling tool, to learn how to work together cohesively in a team, whether you're in sports or an organization. And then there is a managerial and an executive. And for managerial, the good, important ways to or skills to abilities to attribute to is really be able to relate to people, and then manage to make sure the contributors and the teams are working through tasks. When you go up in the layer on the executive, that's where you need to really drop the tasks. They're not as necessary there, but you need to have the strategic insight and the people insight. You still need to be able to relate to people, to encourage people, to motivate people, and you need to be able to see the vision and your mission of your organization or your team or your family, right? And execute on that by bringing everybody together toward that common goal. But where the uniqueness stands there is that uniqueness is really a foundation for strong individuals. And you want to be uniqueness in a way is not necessarily how the world sees you. It is how you perceive yourself from inside out. And that's what I love the most. And maybe touch a little bit more on the uniqueness trip, because we did tie in this conversation to self-awareness, and I feel we need to drill a little bit deeper on that concept. But then uniqueness, and how do you create self-affirmations to see yourself as a unique individual, that strong foundation. And I feel that is so important, and we'll dive in a bit after what you do and who you are and how this ties into the uniqueness.
Yeah, and so to know about the uniqueness, it helps to know why people do the things that they do, or how they change. The number one reason a person will change their behavior or the way that they do things is through pain. So, for example, if I put my hand on a hot cooktop, that pain is going to make me be very cautious anytime I'm around a cooktop in the future. And so, because I don't want to have that pain ever again. The second reason that a person will change their behavior is through awareness. And so that's really where this tool comes into play, is giving you the awareness to make that change. And then the third reason is through mentorship, and fourth reason is through instruction. But the one that we really focus on is that second one, which is awareness. And so, for example, I'll use an example for me. The first time I took this assessment when I was 15, there's an indicator on our assessment that measures assertiveness. And it's not assertiveness as if you're a bully with, finger in your face kind of assertive. It's really, looking at, are you more conflict avoidant, or are you going to speak up for what you believe? And I was the type at 15 again, where, I did not like stirring the water. I did not like throwing rocks in the water and causing ripples. I would let people walk all over me, because I just didn't want. I was very conflict avoidant. I hated conflict, and so the example that I'm using now is what I did was I printed out my assessment and I taped it to my desk so that I saw it. I was aware of it. I saw it all the time. And so anytime I was in a situation in the future where I knew that I needed to speak up for what I believed in, I went back to my assessment. I said, hey, I'm not very good at this, so I need to speak up so I can get better. And it didn't happen overnight. The next time I took the assessment, I did make improvements. I was middle of the way. And then now when I take the assessment, it's in a healthy, strong area because I'm speaking up for myself and I'm making sure that my voice is heard and what I believe is being said. And so that's one way that this tool is able to help change your through awareness and develop your uniqueness. And you know, your uniqueness is all about self-discovery. And so that's what this tool is able to do, is it's able for you to discover those things that you're good at, the things that you can develop, and you can dive down into the areas that you're not strong in. Like for me, it was assertiveness, and you're able to develop that so that you can improve and get better over time.
Wow. Trip, this is a mic drop. Your uniqueness is all about your self-discovery. I have to write it down. And this is gonna be my next post. Your uniqueness is all about your self-discovery. Robert, if you're watching this, we talked about this. Your uniqueness is all about your self-discovery. And I feel, Richard, to your point, you're 63. I'm just a little bit of younger than you are. We're all in this life journey together. I feel in life we get conditioned so much by the expectations of others, by the expectations of our parents, by the expectations of society. Then we're going to get into job expectations of the company, of the managers. And we live in this bubble where we try to tend to meet all of these expectations. And along the way, we forget and lose somehow who we truly are. What really ignites our soul? What makes us alive again? What makes us excited again? And this is just I feel I'm energized by shaking people in a way, kind of figuratively, to say, let's wake up. Let's find a way to bring more life, more joy, more happiness into our own life. And guess what? A lot of people, they tend to say, oh, my circumstances are not good enough, or the people around me are not good enough, or my boss is so critical, or I'm not getting paid enough. So you look at all these external things that you feel are not good enough for you to be happy. And only when you get this next thing, or next promotion, or next, whatever it is that you're envisioning for yourself, then you will be happy. Well, it's a big fat lie. The only way that you can live fulfilled is through self-awareness and through realizing that you have control over your choices, your thoughts, and your actions. And that self-awareness is really a key that each one of us have to unlock this uniqueness within us, to start digging again, to say, what do I really love in this life? Who I truly am, and accepting myself, and really saying, I'm a wonderful person. I have a mission. I have a life to live on this earth. I have a mission, to legacy to leave behind. When my days are over and I look back and I say, I lived my life. I'm proud. I lived my life. And I feel this is what this tool is really showing you, is giving you that insight, giving you that self-awareness to tell you, wait a minute, you're one of a kind. But look at those things that hold you, frustrate you, or knock you off that you can overcome this because you got the power, right? Because it's all within. So Robert saying your uniqueness is all about self-discovery. Perfect, Robert. And Star saying, Janna and Trip, this is a wonderful, really enjoying it. We're so happy you're enjoying this. If you have questions for us, please let us know. Type them in the comments. We'll go on to answering them. Stick to the end. We will have a very, very, very important and amazing, phenomenal announcement that we've come up with, Trip and I. So you want to stick to the end to hear this for sure. Don't drop until we end. And Trip, on self-awareness, we touched that, and judgment index. I want you to tell us the insight. What judgment index tool have helped me to realize is that we can be so strong in what we do. And most people develop themselves professionally. They get, degrees, they get certifications, they get, skills, they get all of these accolades, professional. Look at who I am. Especially you look at LinkedIn, is like, look at an array of, I'm all put together. And where people really struggle is who they are. So it's like a two-part. There's the work side and there's self side. So maybe give us a little bit of insight on how important that is and what are the difference that you've seen at looking at thousands and thousands of people's results.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. You hit the nail on the head with that. Most people do put a lot of their energy, and that's what this tool is able to look at, is where you're putting your energy. And so a lot of people put a lot of their energy into their work life, who they are at work. And by the time that they clock out and they go home, they've depleted all their energy and they have no more room for self-discovery, learning who they are, what hobbies they have, what things that they enjoy doing. And all they want to do is they want to zone out. They want to turn the TV on and then go to bed and do it all over again. And so that's what we see 93% of the time, is people with a much stronger work side, and then their self side is severely lacking. That's what we do up at Yale in one of their management programs, is helping them develop their self side, because we know from all of our statistics, if you develop the self side and it's stronger than the work side, then you will have a much stronger foundation in who you are. So you won't get toppled over as easily if a storm like a pandemic or anything else comes your way. You're going to be steadfast and you're going to be strong in your foundation because you already know who you are. You know where you can be confident, and you know those things that you can give to others. And so so many people, they're able to do a lot from the work side, which is great, but they're not developing their self side. And so it's just much easier for them to topple over when any hard circumstances come their way.
I want to add to that. I agree, Trip. I want to add to that. This is what really captured my attention, because when I took my first assessment, I actually struggled. I struggled with my performance at my job. It is very difficult to admit that, and not too many people admit to that. I received a letter of counseling from my manager saying that I'm not performing well. That was a big slap into my face, and I was at a loss. It's like, I'm capable. I can do so many good things, but why am I struggling? What is happening? And I feel when I took this assessment and I reviewed the results, and I was debriefed by an amazing coach that debriefed and asked me a lot of insightful questions. That's what stood out to me. I checked out all of the work side points. All of them were good. They were all in a good and excellent zone, so to speak. But my personal side of who I am was all over the place. I was self-judgment. I was overwhelmed. In my personal life, there was just so many demands on me. I know I'm a people pleaser, so I would just try to please everybody and do everything for everybody, giving all my energy away. And then because I had such a low score on self-care, I didn't recharge. I didn't rejuvenate. I didn't, had any self-care routine or daily habits. And then I was criticizing myself all the time. And I was like, look at you, you've done this again. Look at you, you've set up all these goals and you didn't achieve. You've done, six out of your goals, and look at you, your failure. So all of those insights were, I say, it was just a big bright light to me to realize how it affected my performance at work, where I checked up all the boxes. So this is why I became so passionate ultimately when I got certified, because it gave me such a depth of insight, and it helped me to realize that nobody's going to fix it for me.
Mhm.
I can't expect my boss or my husband or anybody else fix it. I have to take control. And in a way, Trip, this is where the Powering Unique You was born, to realize that the power is within you. And what I like about Judgment Index is not judging others, it's not judging yourself, it's how you make decisions. What drives you to make decisions, and how many decisions will make a day?
So,
Like,
so many. But all of those choices that you make throughout the day, those are all based off of your values, the things that your parents, teachers, coaches, friends, all those things growing up, they instilled in you. And so those are your known values. And so eventually you get to a place where you choose your values. You say, do I really agree with those values that mom and dad placed in me? Or do I want to go in a different direction because my value structure says, no, this is what's right for me. And so then you start creating it, and you start creating your values, and then giving your value. You're that light for other people to say, hey, I chose my values, and I want you, and I want to be the example for you. And I think your platform is perfect. That's exactly what you're doing. You're giving your values to other people, and you're showing them, hey, it's possible to be unique. You don't have to just go through the mundane day in and day out. We want you to be happy with who you are, because so many people, if you lift the mask off, they look happy on the surface, but once you take that mask off, there's so much stuff that people are struggling with, and we know so well, too well, unfortunately, that that's just the that's just common in today's day and age.
Trip, affirmations. So, what kind of affirmations, and you've shared some of them on the assertiveness, but what kind of affirmations can our viewers and listeners, create for themselves as they look at certain areas of their lives, and maybe related specifically to uniqueness?
Yeah, and that really is ironically a unique circumstance. The affirmations that you need to be doing for yourself, the self-talk that you need to be giving to yourself, is based off of your scores. And so when you take the assessment, you'll have a good understanding of, these are areas where I can say I'm really good in this area. Like, for me, for instance, problem solving. I'm very good at problem solving, almost to my own detriment. The great thing about this tool is you can be strong, but that strength can have a double-edged sword to it, and
Yes.
it can be a weakness if you don't handle it correctly. And so I constantly with my family, with my friends, I constantly have to tell myself to slow down, because my brain just operates and processes things at a much faster rate than the normal person's. And so I'm constantly saying, okay, and the analogy that I love to use is my little boy's a year and a half this month, actually tomorrow. And so I always have to, and he's just now learning how to walk. And so I constantly have to tell myself, and use the analogy, if you know I'm walking down the street and we're walking hand in hand, am I going to walk at the pace that I would walk at, or am I going to slow down? Am I going to walk at his pace? Well, so I'm not dragging the boy behind me. I'm going to walk it at his pace. And that's how I have to feel for most everybody else around there. It's not that I'm better than other people. It's not that other people can't get it or can't pick up on things. It's just we're all different. We're all unique. And so I constantly have to tell myself through affirmations, when you get frustrated, slow down. Don't, it's not that they won't get there eventually, but we all have our own way of getting from point A to point B. And then in areas where I'm not strong in, it's the self-talk, the affirmations that I'm giving myself. Okay, I know if I'm put in this situation, then I can be a little bit better. I need to step out of my comfort zone, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And so that's one of the huge things for me is when you is getting out of your comfort zone. Give yourself those affirmations. Give yourself that self love, and comfort yourself in knowing that, you can be better and you can improve. But again, it's a journey. If you look at my assessments, they go up, down. And so there is no perfect score. Again, there's 12.8 quadrillion assessment or possible outcomes to this assessment. And so there's no perfect score. I promise you, if someone pegs out all the strong categories, they're going to drive everybody in a room they're in crazy because they're too strong. They're too much. They're just way overboard. And so you're trying to find this happy medium. The great thing about this tool is we're not only looking at strength, but we're looking at balance. And there's
Mhm.
that balance between strength and balance there. And so that's the beauty to this tool. And it also looks at where you're investing your energy. And
Yes.
so as for affirmations, that is what I would say is take a look at who you are through the lens of this assessment, because it will shine a spotlight on you.
Yes.
And then you can create those affirmations saying, hey, I'm good in this area. I can become confident in that area. And then I can also improve areas where I'm maybe not as strong.
Yes, I love this. I absolutely love this trip. And Richard's saying fascinating in a way, also frustrating to say, people say, I don't know who I am, but I don't really want to, find out. So that makes sense, the comment. And Richard's saying, really interesting. Could be used in the marriage counseling. So what clearly working doesn't. Everyone has a QR code to skip time wasting courting when there's clearly not fit sometimes. Well, you know what? I could tell you, Richard. When I got my certification, I had, a several assessments for free, and I can't wait to give it to my husband. I can't wait to give it to my husband, and he's such an opposite of me. Opposites attracts. Um, and when I gave him, when I interpreted his course, it was an eye opening to me that he was so much stronger in strategy. And that was like a boomer. I'm like, oh, I'm not strategic enough. He was so much stronger in strategy. He was so much analytical. He was so much into thinking. And I know about that about him because even to buy coffee, we had a coffee maker broke down, and he had to do research for 2 hours to buy the best coffee maker. It's like it's analytical skills and all of these things that just so kind of opposite to me. But when I looked at his results and I saw his strengths, I said, maybe I do need to listen to him more often. Maybe I do need to actually take an advice from him when he's trying to, show me some angles of things, because he's thinking so differently. And I actually came to realize that I need to respect him more for that, for the things that maybe were agitating to me because it's so different from who I am. And I feel this is where this, you talked about balance in this tool, is realizing that your strengths can be decremental because you're running on this strong capacity, so to speak, and you feel everybody is like that, and that's far from being true. And then you can meet with someone who is much stronger in a different kind of capacity that may be a weakness for you, like assertiveness. He would be like this. He's like, you're too wishy-washy with the kids. Come on, get on now. Like, I would rather avoid the conflict. I would be a referee. So it's a balance. And I feel, yes, for couples, absolutely, it's an amazing tool that can give you insight that is not a typical marriage counseling. And I don't know if you've had it, experience with that trip.
Janna, if you don't mind me jumping in, yes, of
Yes.
course, that is we do that all the time, and it's so much fun to do. What we say a lot is it takes the fangs out of having difficult conversations when you know why somebody is the way that they are. For example, my wife, God love her, she is so in love with the people aspect of things to her own detriment that she looks at the world through rose-colored glasses. She'll give people 5 strikes when she should have really only given them 3 strikes. Um, and she loves people so much. It's the first thing that she always thinks about in any circumstances. Who are the people that are involved? How are they going to be affected by this decision that I'm making? It's always the first place she goes. I'm not necessarily that way. I'm more work task oriented, checking things off a to-do list, getting from point A to point B efficiently. So my life is all about efficiencies. And so we butt heads a lot because of that, because we see the world through different lenses, But because I know that about her and because she knows that about me, when we get in those moments, it's like, oh, I get it. I understand it. And so you don't get so frustrated because you just know that's the way that they are. Another example is when I first took this assessment when I was 15, my father, being the CEO, he parented my sister and I the same way. But after he saw my assessment, he said, "Oh wow, like they're two completely different people, and the way to communicate and the way to talk with them needs to be different." And so he became a much better father because he knew his own strengths and weaknesses, but now he knew his son's strengths and weaknesses. So he was able to develop and guide me through those critical years of young adolescence, because he knew where I was and where I stood. And so there's a lot that it can do for relationships, not only in a marriage, but in parents. I mean, I have so many stories that I could share with you. We had one consultant who came through training, and as part of her, freebies, she had her son take it. And her son has always on the outside shown that he's a good kid. He never acted out, never did anything. But underneath the surface, there was a lot of stuff that he was struggling with, which enabled her to get him the help that he needed. You know how powerful that is as a parent to know my kid is struggling and I need to be able to get them help. And so now uh, the mother and son have a much more stronger relationship because she was able to get him the help that he needed. And so there's so many stories that I can share of instances like that. But that's one of my favorite things about this tool. It's where I'm about to jump out of my chair. I'm so passionate about people knowing who they are and where they're good, where they're bad, so that they can better work with others around them, whether that's a coworker, whether that's a family member or a spouse.
Yes, yes. I share this passion with you, Trip. I do see that it can make a tremendous impact in personal relationship, in professional relationship, and self-discovery, self-awareness. And I feel that's what it's all about. Something that stood out to me, it is through conversations, it is through relationships that we get the perspective, that we get growth, we get transformation. So what is the most important is self-discovery is through relationships, through conversations. And this is a great way to deepen that, to learn how to be more open-minded, to see that your strength may become your weaknesses, that it maybe in some areas you're a little bit imbalanced, in some areas maybe you're a little bit too much or not enough. So Roger is joining us, giving us some love. He's saying you're doing awesome. Roger, thank you so much. Roger is actually one of the leading marketers, chiefs and Judgment Index. And we're so happy that you're watching us, Roger. Thank you so much. Well, Trip, let's do the announcement. Are you ready?
I'll let you take it away.
So for all of you that have stuck with us, that have been here with us to the end, if you are watching, my friend, this is for you. You take an action. Judgment Index and Trip are genuinely, generously are giving up 5 assessments, 5 super diamond amazing assessments to anyone that is going to send a message. You could send a message to me on LinkedIn to say, I want the assessment. The first 5 people that's going to send the message will get those for free. And I decided to go ahead with generosity because I feel the more we give, the more goodness we'll bring into the world. And I will give you my time, my friend, in interpreting those and helping you to gain the perspective, gain the self-awareness, create those affirmations to see yourself in a different light. So I'm willing to donate, to offer you my services and my interpretation and my coaching along with those assessments. And whoo, this is amazing. This feels amazing. Thank you so much, Trip, from the bottom of my heart, and to Judgment Index team for being so generous. I could say this is amazing, great value. I would value that up to close to $500 total that you would be getting for free from both of us. So hey, take it on. 5 first people, send me a DM, say that you want it, and I will get everything you need to schedule that together. if you have taken it, like I know someone else is here, and you want to do that for your friend or your family, um, take it on. If you're watching this, so you will be the one to say, I want it, you could give it to somebody else as well. So I will consider that as well. So we're gonna run this promotion until next Monday for a week. And my friend, even if you watch on Team Replay and you're watching this on Friday, hey, take the opportunity anyway and send a message. Who knows? Maybe you will be the fifth person and you will get this amazing gift of self-awareness and finding the tool that help you find your uniqueness, find the perspective, and find the values that drive you to make decisions in your life to create a better you, better outcomes, and better powerful results for yourself. Well, Trip, any parting suggestions or wishes or anything that you would love to share with our audience today?
Um, I just want to say how thankful that I am for giving us a platform to come together and meet. It's always nice to talk with others that share the same passion as you. We love what you're doing, and so please continue being the light and spreading that light for others around you. And just for you personally, we're just so proud of how you've developed from 2018 when we first met you to now. It's been so much fun watching your growth throughout the years, and just how proud you should be of yourself for the development and self love that you've given to yourself. And I hope that this tool has been a catalyst for that change for you. So just want to give you kudos and claps to you. But thank you for your time. And it's really been a pleasure. So thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, Chip, you're giving me emotional shivers. You promised you're not going to do this on air. I told you I don't have waterproof mascara on, but thank you so much, my friend. I hope we could do this sometimes again soon, and appreciate you coming on, sharing all the enthusiasm, all the goodness, and all the good work that you and your phenomenal team is doing in the world.
Thank you so much.
Whew. Oof, oof, oof. Amazing, amazing, my friends. Well, I am so thrilled to be here. Roger, I'm smiling too. Thank you for supporting us there. Star, that is awesome. What a gift. It's so good to be giving good, important, valuable things to change people's life. I'm a firm believer that we are in this world empowered to change our own life first, and then love ourselves, accept ourselves, take a good care of ourselves first. And by doing that, we can make an impact and change other people's lives. And Richard, what a great show. Thank you so much for joining in and listening. And hey, take me and the Judgment Index on this amazing, phenomenal offer. If you have someone that you feel need to watch it and send a message, you can send a direct message to me on LinkedIn and just say, hey, I want this gift, and I will set it all up for you. I just want to say I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for you, my friend, that you are watching, you are learning, you are striving, you're seeking for new ways to better yourself, to better your life, to improve your own internal state. It's not about what's all these fears and struggles and difficulties that are around us. Everything is pressing upon us. But hey, this light and life comes from within. So I want to cheer you on. I want to compliment you, and I want to recognize you for looking, searching, and doing the work that you're doing within yourself to become the person that you absolutely love. Hey, be the one that love yourself first. And then let's spread and amplify the life around, the love, the joy, the encouragement around us. I feel that that is the mission of Powering Unique You. And until then, you, my friend, be good, be well, and enjoy your life. I see you next week.